again, my lovelies. Eileen Curlin Walsh welcoming you back to Where the Road Rises, Law, Lessons, Legacy, and part 2 of relationship building and storytelling. To recap, in June, I presented on this subject to the $1 Million Roundtable International Conference in Vancouver, Canada. My international audience of 10,000 people loved these simple but powerful tools, prompting me to share them with you. In part 1, we explored the origin of unity, compassion, and empathy in our brain and nervous system, the science of positive interactions, and explored story as a valuable tool to forge loyal, lasting relationships. Today, we continue our story theme, exploring the power of a brand story, unwrapping the needs of others through their story, and we will conclude with the capstone of my story immersion, the Legacy Ladder. In addition to promoting your business through success stories and cautionary tales, I encourage you to build a brand and a brand story that reflects the emotional heart and soul of your business. Your brand should evoke a set of positive emotions and associations you get credit for. Harvard University Business School did a research project in 2010, led by Amy Cuddy before her TED Talk fame, and determined that 2 critical variables account for our overall judgment of others, and those are warmth and competence. A client told me about the study and told me my practice emanated the qualities of warmth and competence. So I ran with it, I made it my tagline and shorthand for my brand. Competence is necessary for your brand, but it's actually easy to pin down. All business owners must possess skill, knowledge, professionalism, experience, and expertise to be successful. Those qualities are inherent in every client's expectation. You have got to have the goods. However, it's the more subtle aspects of branding that differentiate you. The warmth in hearing me speak and reading my columns and marketing materials, clients perceive my voice as genuine. They perceive that I love them, that I will listen to them, that I will not rush them. To quote Dolly Parton again, no one cries alone in my company. We can laugh and cry together, and I will lay to rest their fears and doubts. They trust that I care about their life's meaning and purpose, that I respect their dignity, will grant their wishes and remember them. There is a scene in the AMC series Mad Men that captures this coveted, elusive connection so beautifully. I recommend everyone watch it. You can find it on YouTube under The Carousel, where Don Draper says, "There is the rare occasion when the public can be engaged on a level beyond flash, when they form a sentimental bond with a product, a bond deeper than lotion for an itch, a nostalgia delicate but potent, like the pain from an old wound, a twinge far more powerful than memory alone, taking us to a place we ache to go again, home again, a place where we know we are loved." That's the feeling you want to capture with your brand, that your business meets their powerful need to be loved, to come home again. Your brand message becomes more powerful when you weave it into a story, a brand narrative. Think of Steve Jobs and how powerfully his personality defined Apple. Likewise, Oprah and her empire, Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop have built strong story brands. And my hero, as you might get the theme here now, Dolly Parton has also built a solid gold, enduring brand around her Tart with a Heart, Rags to Riches story. In 2013, Randy Goldberg and David Hasselhoff heard that socks are the most requested clothing item in homeless shelters. They established the brand's mission to donate 1 pair of socks for every pair purchased. The next year, the founders appeared on Shark Tank and secured a deal with Daymond John. From there, the company became not only popular, but highly profitable, unwavering in the mission to serve and be authentic with their brand. These socks are expensive. By 2018, the company had exceeded $100 million in revenue. By April 2020, they had donated 35 million pairs of socks. Your brand message is your firm's hopes and dreams, principles and aspirations. Your brand story then will carry that message to your clients and whisper, "Join us." Potential clients see themselves in your story, foresee a better self through your offerings. They are motivated to join your community of believers where everyone shares tastes, preferences, and values. You, your team, your clients, your community, family, and pets are all stakeholders in the brand's success. Above all else, make sure your stories are tailored to your target audience. Your stories must evoke emotion. Make them nod their head, shed a tear, or smile. Your brand story will not sound like a marketing message, but it is. I liken this brand narrative to a ministry where you are the leader, burning with passion and purpose, creating the energy that compels others to follow. People want to matter. They want their lives to have meaning, to belong, to be part of something bigger than themselves, and to have their problems solved. When you deliver your story in this manner, they will remain loyal, give testimony, and advocate for you to their friends, families, and neighbors by encouraging everyone they care about to join your orbit. And there is no one story more valuable than another. A story is the great democratic equalizer. It's how you tell it and how you weave your message through it that is key. The story must always drive your brand message home. Tell relevant stories about your single life, your marriage, your children, your divorce, immigration, discrimination, faith, your glass ceiling story, your Me Too story, your illness, your survival story. I tell my warrior to healer story, my American dream story, my loving kindness story, my own love story. I share my company story. I brand with my every woman story, how to balance a happy marriage, successful practice, pro-social children, service to humanity, and still be home in time for tea. In the interest of time, I will not tell these stories here today, but they are all in my book, The Soul of Your Business, which is available in hard copy on Amazon.com. If you would like a free copy of my ebook, you're so welcome. Just contact me at the number below and I will send you the QR code. Your brand story is never fully told, of course. You must keep rewriting and evolving in business as in life. If you lost everything you had, if you were stripped of all your trimmings, you would still have your brand story. Guard it fiercely, brand everything you do with it. It is what makes you unique. As business owners, leaders, teachers, we often find it hard to let our guard down. To avoid appearing weak and vulnerable, we project an aura of detached professionalism rather than emotional connection. However, with the right balance, this emotional relationship is the most powerful method. I recently gained a mega church as a client that had thousands of lawyers in the congregation, but they chose my office because they liked my brand story. Our success in meeting client needs often requires discussion of intimate subjects, which calls for a tender, sensitive approach. In addition to promoting your services through story And telling your brand story, you can unwrap your clients' needs by listening to their stories. Clients can share complex emotions and experiences about their life, their families, their assets, and the behavior that connects them through story. They can reveal problems, secrets, and fears. We can learn more about a client from the way they tell their story than the story itself. They will have a more memorable, satisfying experience with you, with better outcomes for you both. After years of consultation, we become experts in the human condition, the basic personality types, reading between the lines, picking up what our clients are not saying, recognizing the social worldview their needs are filtered through, and we can respond directly to it. To have a business and serve the public is an honor and a privilege. We are in the confessional. We have this rare opportunity to listen, help, and heal. Never take it for granted. And if you're in danger of doing so, step out and rediscover it. I have attended many deathbeds. While it is always a somber experience, it is also a unique privilege to listen to stories, offer solace and peace, make someone feel special and heard in their final days. I created a will for a middle-aged man as his elderly mother wrapped his skeletal body in blankets like a child. Like all parents and children, this final chapter was not the order they thought their deaths would be in. I created virtual estate plans for stunned couples during the pandemic, losing each other days apart, alone, their grief-stricken children not allowed to visit either one of them. For a doctor who treated COVID patients day and night for 11 months in 2020, then quickly succumbed to the disease himself. I have created trusts for several young mothers with terminal cancer who would never see their children's graduations, weddings, or grandchildren. Yet they laid there bravely planning their children's future, a future that had been snatched from them. In each case, their grace amidst their sadness was profound. There is room for nothing at a deathbed but loving kindness. I recently asked a 100-year-old woman about her time in the Women's Auxiliary Corps in World War II. She told me the young woman had so much fun. They would go off flying unauthorized with the pilots and little jaunts. One time she left her good overcoat in the plane. Her mother was more concerned about the lost coat than her daughter taking unauthorized flights with trainee pilots. She said no one had asked her about the war in 50 years. I went to the home of a dying fireman. Having seen more than his share of destruction, turmoil, and tragic death, he was closed, bitter, angry, and resentful. He did not trust lawyers, was aghast at the cost of planning, coursing with adrenaline and cortisol. After a while I said, I bet you have some great stories. He transformed before my eyes. He glowed as he told me how much he loved being a fireman, using the jaws of life to cut victims from car wrecks, and his sadness that his career was cut short by an accident in which he was wounded and his partner died. I tell my clients their story is the most important gift, and for a short time, I get to be part of it. If you nurture a brand narrative approach, the quality of your sale will go further. I often think we business owners are the fish that must swim constantly to keep oxygen-rich water flowing over our gills, even while we sleep. The reality is we must keep generating business, and every ecstatic client leads to those vital referrals. In addition to drawing out clients' stories to determine their needs, I teach them to pass on their stories in a legacy letter. As my regular viewers will have heard me mention often, a legacy letter is a wonderful document on the meaning and purpose of your life, a pilgrimage to self, a gathering of the stories that made you who you are and taught you what you believe. The intent is to gift your reflection to those coming after you, your children, grandchildren, church, community, the world. The value of writing a legacy letter is twofold. The process is healing and transformative for you and leaves a priceless gift for your family. It captures forever your place in history and enriches the lives of your readers. My mission to teach everyone the value of their story is one I came by honestly in my Irish country childhood. Stories were revered, not just because we liked telling them, but because sometimes they were all we had. They were often the only thing we had to pass down. When I became an estate planning lawyer, I heard stories daily. My clients had incredible wealth and wisdom beyond their possessions, and I was fascinated. I knew those stories were as integral to their legacy as their material wealth. So since 2006, I have been teaching my clients to write a legacy letter and leave it as a gift for those coming after them. I have developed a beautiful online tutorial and workbook to help clients write their legacy letter easily. The program guides the writer step by step through memory, value, beliefs, gratitude, pearls of wisdom, hopes and blessings, and how they want to be remembered. I supply writing prompts and samples, quotes and suggestions. You cannot get lost or overwhelmed. I limit how much you write for each section, which can be frustrating when memories are flowing, but it is essential you keep moving through the process. When I present my client with their estate plan portfolio, along with their legal documents, I gift them my legacy letter program and tell them their wisdom is as important to leave as their wealth. Emphasizing the value of their story reinforces the brand message that I care about them over and above fees and services. That is the capstone of my story immersion. Everyone is moved, and I have the loyalty of my clients and everyone in their sphere of influence for life. It's important as you craft your stories that you trust your own experience. I had a profound lesson in this concept in 2022 when I was invited to present a series of lectures on writing in the Seamus Heaney home place in Ireland. Seamus Heaney, recently deceased, is a poet who won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1995. He grew up close to where I grew up in County Derry, Northern Ireland, and he is our pride and joy. In addition to his literary translations and academic research, Seamus Heaney wrote of the local, rural, and domestic. His poems are stark and sparse, yet luminous and brilliant. I have always loved Seamus Heaney's poems, not just for their lyrical beauty, but for their very existence. I was shocked at the people and places of my humble childhood and simple landscape were worthy of verse and praise. Seamus's story includes growing up in a rural Catholic background, large family, poor stony farm, cutting turf for the fire exactly like me. He was celebrated not just as the village bard, but by the world of letters, Oxford, Harvard, by the other great writers of his time, and then the ultimate validation, the Nobel Prize. By acknowledging his work, these esteemed institutions ratified my existence, which otherwise felt a little shameful. Absorbing the exhibition of Seamus Heaney's life, literature, and inspiration, I was struck by two things. Not just the cadence of his speech and the power of his work, but by what he had to teach us as writers, business owners, storytellers, speakers, and presenters. He showed us that our own experience is trustworthy. He urged us to share our personal memories, not just to preserve them, but to open them up, move them along, make them current. So I encourage all of us to trust our experience, let the stories of our childhood, teenage years, adulthood, college, business, our tragedies and our triumphs illuminate our presence and move us along to a glimpse of wholeness. These are not sophisticated strategies, but they have taken me worlds further than that young country girl could ever have believed possible. I can provide a wonderful lifestyle for my family, save for the future, build a home with space to raise my children in a safe, well-resourced community, have a lake home for endless summer memories, and now my full circle moment. Build a farmhouse where I grew up, looking out over the fields where a little piece of my soul lives all year round. These simple tools I offer you earned all of this for me. In our fractured world, we remain hungry for stories and connection. If you grow your customer base around storytelling, learn to release the hormones that foster love and compassion, you will tap into your customers' longing to connect. By validating your clients, they will validate you. By hearing your clients, they will hear you, and by remembering them, they will remember you, and the opportunities for your business become limitless. In my marketing bio, I tell my clients, estate planning is about protecting your assets, your loved ones, and planning for the future, yes, but it is so much more. It is about you, your unique story, your life savings, your values and beliefs, and your hopes for the future. That is what I weave into your estate plan. If everything about you and your business is honest and authentic, if you hold a promise of respite, solutions, success, peace, and happiness, your ideal customers will want to become a part of that. I will leave you now with the words of Madeleine L'Engle. Why does anyone tell a story? It does indeed have something to do with faith. Faith that the universe has meaning, that our little human lives are not irrelevant, that what we choose, what we do, and what we say matters cosmically. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching. Until next time on Where the Road Rises, goodbye.